Welcome back to Samuel Leeds Success Stories. In this video, we're joined by Brad Hartles. He was a former gas engineer who jumped all in on property investing and is now making some serious ka-ching money.
You jumped all in into property, joined the academy straight off of a crash course. What was joining the academy like?
The people make up the academy, so you just got to show up and keep meeting them.
Brad specializes in buying properties, doing them up and selling them. He buys at auctions. He maximizes his returns through smart refurbishment strategies. And he recently bought a property for just £57,000 and then sold it before he'd even finished the refurb for a huge profit.
On the training, I met my JV partner, Lee. About 6 months later, we actually ended up buying an auction property, but we only actually paid 57 grand for the property at auction. We've actually sold it halfway through the refurb. Anybody you meet is an investor. If you meet someone at a golf club, they might buy into you.
In this interview, we're going to dive into his deal sourcing, investment strategies, lessons learned, and his goal of becoming a millionaire by age 30, which he's absolutely set to do. So enjoy this one and be sure to subscribe for more Samuel Leeds success stories.
The first two we did a discount, prove that we can deliver. Now we charge 5 grand sourcing fee, 5 grand project management fee.
What are some of the biggest problems that you've seen and how did you overcome them? I'm your host, Patricia, and today we're sitting with Brad Hartles. So we met when you joined the academy over a year ago.
Yep.
And I did your onboarding. And so can you just start me from the beginning? What were you doing before you joined the academy?
So before I joined the academy, I was a simple gas engineer.
And how did you find Samuel's YouTube or the academy? Did you go to crash course?
I got introduced to a crash course by my cousin, Zach. Shout out to Zach. And he took me along to a London crash course originally. And then a year later, we did the Birmingham crash course. And then I signed up to the academy on the crash course there and then.
At the crash course? Wow. And so what made you take that plunge?
Because I was already buying a house. I thought, well, if I'm buying one, I might as well get educated.
You were already buying a house. And how old were you? Can I ask how old you were when you were buying a house?
25.
25. Tell me about this house.
It was a 3-bed auction property. We buy and sold. And the ceiling in the living room had fell in due to a leak in the loft. So it was a problem property. Temporary fuse board, a bit of a shell of a property because of the flood damage. So then it was sold at auction and I was the lucky bidder.
So, wow, that's really interesting that your first investment is from the auction, because I remember when I did my training, it was like you have to be pretty experienced. So did you feel pretty comfortable, confident?
Yeah, because I've got obviously a trade background. I found it quite undaunting.
Yeah.
How you say it?
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, I can fix that, and it shouldn't take too long to fix and do up and sell on.
Okay. So can you tell me about the numbers? What did you buy it for?
Yeah, so it would have been an easy refurb if I'd have just kept it as a 3-bed. But I decided to put a side extension and a rear extension. So the total cost of doing that was about 135 grand. All in. On top of the purchase price of 260k.
Okay.
So I was all in for about 395-ish, is that equal to?
Yep.
And then I've got it listed now for sale for 500.
Wow. And so you're going to flip it, sell it, you're going to make 100k.
Sell it. It is my primary residence. So I've been living there the whole time. And so it took me 12 months to finish, and now it's for sale. And then I'll be looking again to buy another one.
Great. And so from that first experience, which sounds like a very lucrative deal, and kudos to you for taking that giant step, what kind of things would you not have done? Any lessons learned from that one?
Doing the bigger houses, they take a lot longer, and they take a lot longer to sell. So I think sticking to the first-time buyer and investor market is a lot better because of speed. And if you want to compound your money as fast as possible, you need speed. And doing extensions takes time. So if it's any takeaways, I'd probably stick to first-time buyer and investor price points.
Did you need planning permission for those extensions?
It was permitted development for the rear extension, but because I did the side extension as well, and went out the back 8 meters, rather than 5, that was the extra bit of planning needed. So the planning permission only took 10 weeks.
That's not bad.
So that's pretty fast.
Yeah. Do you have a relationship with the council for that kind of stuff? Or do you just
architect?
Architect,
yeah.
Yes, that's great. And so for anybody who doesn't know what permitted development is, what is that?
So it's just you still need your drawings, but you don't need to go through the full planning application. You're permitted to do what within the guidelines of what they outline that you can do without sort of applying for full planning permission.
Great. So you jumped all into property, joined the academy straight off of a crash course.
Yep.
What was joining the academy like? What was that? Did it meet your expectations? What did you think going in?
Yeah, I mean, because obviously I was buying that house, I wanted to make sure that my numbers were correct. And I didn't quite understand how people valued properties or what a good return on investment is. So, and that was more what I was aiming towards, to figure out what a good deal actually is.
So how do you figure that out?
Well, with flips, obviously you always work backwards, which is obviously what I've been taught by Samuel, is work backwards rather than forwards, because I was always working forwards, and that doesn't allow you to have your exit strategy of refinancing if you couldn't sell it.
So working backwards from the GDV?
From the GDV, yeah. And then make sure you get your 25% profit margin first, and then minus all costs.
And then that's when you know what you're offering for purchase price.
Exactly, yeah.
How do you calculate the GDV?
Comparables in the street. Yeah. So, and using the square meterage. Similar properties in the area with the same size footprint, because some might have extensions, some might not. So use the comparables in the area to pinpoint exactly what the actual price point is.
Okay, so you've got the training, you've got the community, and you did your first deal. So what happened after that?
So after that, on the training, I met my JV partner, Lee Meredith.
Yeah.
And we've done 2 lots of week training together with his son, Corey, and just built a relationship talking, basically. You got to talk to everybody whilst you're here.
Yeah.
About 6 months later, we actually ended up buying an auction property in Ebervale, in a nice little valley in Wales. We seen that at auction and a pre-auction, but you can't really sell auction properties to investors. Lee sent it to me and said, "What do you think to this one?" He went and viewed it. And then the day before the auction, he says, "How much do you want to bid?" And I said, "Well, to be honest, Lee, I only want to bid 57 grand. That's the maximum I'm prepared to go to." Expecting the house to sell for like 90 grand. So no expectation. He rang me up at 12 o'clock when the auction started, and the bidding started 50 grand. We bidded 50 grand, but the reserve's at 55 because it's within 10%. As I said, put 55 and meet the reserve and hopefully we win it. Hit 55 and a bid of 56 coming. I'm assuming it might have been the auctioneer just to get the bidding going.
Really?
So
can they do that?
They can do that, yeah. But it is online, so you can't see him doing it. So he might have just put another grand on.
Yeah.
So we went to 57, and the auction finished at 57.
Wow.
Yeah.
So why wasn't anybody else bidding on it?
I don't know.
I guess it's just the luck,
potluck.
right?
Well, I say potluck. We was there to bid on it, so it's not potluck.
And did you say that you did that? That was a joint venture.
That was a joint venture, yeah.
So who had the cash for that one?
Well, I raised the money off an investor. Lee had the money and just pulled the money together to buy the property, 57 grand. But with the fees, the auction fees, stamp duty and everything, it was another 10 grand on top. So
10 grand?
Yeah. So it cost us 67 in total, and then 25 grand a refurb. We're halfway through the refurb now.
Great.
And then we sold it for 160 before we've completed the refurb. So someone on the street is renting and they want to buy. And because we've got other investors' properties in the area, we showed them around what we've been doing, showed them around our property, and they liked what we were doing and said, we want to buy the property that you started the refurb on.
How did you even connect with them? How did they even know?
It's a long-winded story, but someone at the builders merchants knows somebody, and they know somebody that knew was living on the street that wants to buy.
Wow, that's amazing how the stars just line up like that, right?
Yeah.
So with the refurb, are you pretty accurate with those numbers then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the kitchen is about 2,700 quid.
Wow. Where do you get your kitchen from?
Howdens, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're in the trade, so you get like the trades discounts, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but because we're buying a few kitchens in the area, I think they started off at like 3,300 and just slowly come down to 2,700 because we're buying a lot.
So for anybody who's new, you can negotiate these prices with Howdens. Yeah. So aside from project management, do you do actual physical work as well?
I'm trying to stop doing the physical work.
So you kind of did.
I did all the work on the one in Birmingham. I've done some of the work on the one in Wales, but compared to the amount of work I did on the one in Birmingham, nothing on the one in Wales really.
Okay, cool. So, so you've got your second one lined up. What else is happening?
Deal sourcing. So obviously off the back of buying 2 properties, I had an investor who was looking to buy properties. I said that I could find you one in Birmingham, or I could find you one in South Wales, because we've got both patches covered. And we ended up finding him two properties.
One investor, 2 properties.
One investor, 2 properties.
Bang, nice. And so, and where's your patch? You're kind of.
My area is South Birmingham, around about like the Solihull area, and then, but then because I can leverage other co-sources, I can use their patches. So not specific to a specific area, because you should be able to invest anywhere.
So what are the areas that you have worked in?
So Ebervale, which means nothing to most people, but in South Wales, above Newport and Cardiff, and then like South Birmingham area, but then also looking to connect with other co-sources to venture out into other different patches. So
deal sourcing, project management.
Yeah, we do project management. So we do an end-to-end sort of service where some people just find the deal and then that's it, off you go. We actually do the sourcing and the project management combined. So got both streams of income then.
Amazing.
Because obviously got a trade background. It's not easier, but it's easier to manage, if you know what I mean.
So how do you manage if it's not in your backyard?
Using the co-sources connections. So they're builders, building up relationship with them. Obviously, I brought a property in Wales now, so I'm building up relationship with the same builders and stuff. So just leveraging other people's network and skills. Great.
So what are some of your favorite tools that you've used in the Academy? You've probably seen it in the last year, like blow up.
Yeah. So I originally used Rate My Refurb on my property, and then obviously the networking events. Yeah. So Birmingham has 2, plus a new one. A new one in Wolverhampton now with Billy Cooner. Yeah. So have you been a regular attendee at these events? Yeah. Nice. I'll try and go to every single one. Yeah. In Birmingham anyway. I do need to start venturing out a bit, but I've been going to at least 8 networking events a month. Oh, wow. 8 a month? 8 a month, yeah. So how do you juggle everything? You're deal sourcing, you've got refurbs, you're project managing. You've got time. You've got time. You're full-time in property. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And how old are you? 26. So what's going to happen in the future for you? What's going on, Brad? What are your 5-year, 10-year goals look like? So my main goal was to be a millionaire by 30. Oh, so how close are you to that? We're on track as long as I keep compounding the money by 25% a year. So there you go. Not too far away. And then just keep building. Keep building from there. I'll set new goals once that's achieved. Yeah. Are you interested in, so is it mostly residential? Are you interested in commercial, development, kind of stuff? I'm going to stick to my niche for now, but I think have a niche and now the niche first rather than trying to do everything. Because with commercial to resi, there's a lot involved and a lot of costs that are hidden costs compared to a standard refurb. And you need a big float to be able to cover up. What's an example of a hidden cost? Sound insulation. Okay. Yeah, that's a massive cost. You've got fire alarm systems. You do get them in a HMO, but with commercial, you potentially have to have sprinkler systems. It's all these extra services that you need that people don't think they require until they get into a project and the refurb's like twice the cost as a standard refurb. Yeah. So it's better off just wait until you got a big lump sum to cover them costs. What did your parents think? They were quite supportive. They're supportive. My mum doesn't understand it, so she doesn't get it. But you should bring her to a crash course. I should do. Yeah. I should do. and Dad's cool. Yeah, he's supportive. Yeah, he wants to invest. Oh, soon, so. There you go. Did you say that? Where are you going this weekend? Where are you? Spain. So I'm seeing Nick Henry in Spain this week to look at some of his SA deals. Nice. Nice villas. Oh, that sounds great. So that's another fun thing, right? You're just going to continue meeting other people who are in it to win it. Most of them are on the Academy, so they're all doing great stuff. So you just got to stay in the environment. So is it hard to stay positive and motivated, or is that easy for you? I'd say no, you got to be motivated. Yeah, if you're not motivated, you'd never get anything done. Yeah. So it's obviously once you get a bit of success, it becomes easier, but then you got new goals, new ambitions, so you got to keep on top of it. What are some of the biggest problems that you've seen and how did you overcome them? Raising money. I thought that these investors were fancy people in a suit, but they're just regular people. What do you mean by that? Just anybody you meet's an investor. Okay. Anybody at the Academy events or anybody on the street? Anybody. Really? Yeah. Okay. If you meet someone at a golf club or you're out at a coffee shop or whatever and you strike up a conversation, they might buy into you. So was that something you were able to do beforehand or did you learn that? Sort of learnt that quick
Yeah.
doing the academy for 12 months, that the investors are in the room, the investors are everywhere. So you sort of need to be an investable person to begin with to build them relationships with other people. But your investor isn't going to be your investor because they don't know that they're your investor until you've worked on them for 12 months.
And then all of a sudden, right?
And then all of a sudden, yeah, they buy into what you're doing, and then it stems from there, really.
Great.
It's compounded choices. You compounding your choices by going to them networking events and showing up for yourself to then become an investable person, because I know you're not going to disappear.
And so what kind of advice would you give yourself on day one of the academy?
Doing it sooner. Yeah. I thought you needed a big cash pot to start off with, but you don't need anything. You just need the network, really.
Yeah, amazing. How fun has it been to work with Samuel?
Really good.
Was it what you thought?
No.
What did you originally think?
I just thought I was going to get some property education and that's it, off you go. But it's all the backup service that you get. You're not getting that anywhere else.
No,
You're
it's so
definitely not.
true.
And it's the environment of people.
Yeah.
It's mainly the people. The people make up the academy. It's not Samuel, it's the people within the academy that make up the academy.
Yeah.
You just got to show up and keep meeting
Absolutely.
everybody here.
And so what about your third deal? You've got another deal going?
They're investors. They're
Okay.
investors' properties. So we source 3 properties for investors, all with 25% return on investment. So they can either refinance it on a buy-to-let or they can flip it like we're doing.
And what do you charge for your deals, deal sourcing and?
So the first
project
2 we did a discount, build the credibility, build the trust,
Mhm.
prove that we can deliver. And then now we charge $5,000 sourcing fee, $5,000 project management fee.
Great. Okay. Perfect. And you've got a few of those lined up.
Got to find 5 properties over the next couple of months. So there's a lot in the pipeline.
Yeah. So is there ever a point where you're going to be like, I'm sorry, I'm too busy. I have to fill these 5 first. Are you saying no to investors, or can they still reach out to you?
They can still contact us, yeah.
Yeah. What would be ideal for you? Like, what would be a perfect deal that you could find?
Anything above 25% return on investment really is a good deal. The problem is if you don't get 25% and the numbers go over, you got to leave more money in the deal. And if the investor's only got 100 grand and they got to leave 20 grand in, they don't, now we've only got 80 grand. They've got to save 20 grand, go back to 100. How long is it going to take you to save 20 grand? A long time.
Where are you finding your investors?
On the academy.
Oh, yeah.
On the academy, people I know. Like I say, everybody's your investor. So, but the academy is a good place to find investors because everybody's here for property. So that just helps you really in narrowing the market, if you know what I mean. If you go to a business networking event, they're not focused on property; they're focused on something else. Where a property event is people want to buy properties, so that's why they're here.
So when you said you want to be a millionaire by the time you're 30, what makes you want to do that?
I think as an investor, cash is king. So if you've got a big pot, your offer then is more acceptable, which helps obviously to secure deals faster, and then you can use that to use other investors and use your money and their money together. So it's basically having skin in the game. So if you're invested, they're more on board with you,
Right?
because you've got skin in the game as well as them.
You've got more credibility. Right?
More credibility.
Yeah.
It's easier to get people on board when you're part of it as well, rather than just I'm taking a fee and off you go. And then the reason why I want to be a millionaire by 30 is I wouldn't call it more foundational work rather than charity work. So I go to different places like Kenya. I went and helped build a school out there. And then the next stop is India with Billy Kuna to help. I've sponsored 2 children out there.
Wow.
So flying out there to meet the kids that I sponsor and do more of that going forwards.
That's great. Philanthropy is so important. And I think that's really emphasized here as well. Like, great, we've got success. Now it's time to give back, right?
Yeah, that's it.
And that just makes the journey so much more valuable as well, right?
Exactly.
How do you think technology will change the game for you in the future?
I don't know, because there's a lot of AI deal sourcing sort of websites that are out and about now, but I still don't think it matches in-person sort of contacting the agents because, yeah, they're online, but unless you've got someone you can talk to, you're never going to get a deal done.
Yeah, so tell me about crewing. What's that like?
Crewing is good to give back to new up-and-coming academy members. So that's their first time ever having experience, potentially, to some sort of education about property. So it's good just to get in the room again and hopefully help people get on their journey.
So Crash Course is kind of where it starts. And so, it's a great place to meet new investors as well, because you can just schmooze the room and let people know that you're already doing it, right? And you're going to find new people who haven't done the full training, right? I find that when people in the academy are just so well trained, they're so smart, that the deals that they want are going to be, all money out deals.
You try and push for that every time.
You try and push for that,
Yeah,
right?
you try and push for that every time. But depends on the investor. Every person's different. Depends what they want to get out of it.
Exactly. Do you have any international investors?
Not yet.
Not yet. I like that answer. Well, maybe you'll meet some in Spain this weekend, right?
That's why I'm going there.
Yeah. So if somebody wanted to reach out to you, Brad, how would they reach out?
Instagram.
Instagram? What's your Instagram?
Brad Hartles, Hartles.
Okay. Brad Hartles. I think I follow you, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you were hanging out with Sook in Scotland?
Yeah.
What was that like?
That's what taught me to never invest just in your own little area.
Oh,
Make sure you go everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere. Because the deals aren't always in your area. They could be in Wales, they could be in Scotland.
Yeah.
But don't limit yourself.
So what kind of advice would you give somebody who's starting off?
Join the crash course.
Join the crash course.
Just start, show up.
Show up.
Start and show up. And don't paper off. Make sure you keep showing up, because nothing might happen for 12 months, but then it all happens in the following 12 months. So
I've heard
don't
that.
quit.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us, Brad. I really appreciate that.
Thank you for having
And
me.
if you're interested in learning more about property, or if you want to come and meet Brad or Samuel or the team, just come down to a crash course. They're £1. You're going to learn everything. It all starts at the crash course. Thanks very much, brother.
Thank you.